Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. It is the 18th of May 2018. Two quick things. First thing, I've just been listening to the rest of Sheeps and Neeps live YouTube channel, which was a broadcast from yesterday. And he brought up a very good point about the witches. How back, I don't know how many hundreds of years this is, 100 years, 200 years, might be 200 years, might be more than that, where the witch finder general would find witches, and the way they would test if they were witches or not was by using water. I've got to try to remember which way around was it. They would put weights on them, isn't it? And if they sank, they were not witches. If they rose, they were witches. Or was it the other way around? I can't remember. Whatever way it was ludicrous. But the fact is, at the time, did people challenge it? No, they didn't. They believed in it. Maybe there would have been some, but the fact is that he carried on this process for a long time, killing women based on believing they're witches. I'm not sure why they were so dangerous, or why they thought they were so dangerous at that time, why suddenly they became such a big thing. But the fact is, at the time, they would have considered themselves the most educated of people, civilized. Same as if we forward ourselves now, we will consider ourselves the most civilized, we're the most educated. The things we do are much better than those. When we look back, you can say, oh, they were barbaric, or oh, that wouldn't happen now. But that's a stupid way of thinking about it, because they thought that when they were alive. If you go 200 years into the future and they look back on us, they will think, oh my goodness, they were idiots, the things they used to do, the things they used to believe. Why didn't they challenge them? Come on, they look so ludicrous, how did they not realise? So we must always be aware of that, and I think that what Sheeps and Neeps, what Des brought up, was a very good point of how people did used to believe in witches, and they did used to believe that the way of finding a witch was by drowning her, and the logic behind it is just, it stares you in the face. And I'm sure there were people who thought, I don't think this is a very legitimate way of testing a witch. But there would have been loads of people that just, they didn't start rebelling and stopping the Witchfinder General and his people from doing what they were doing. I'm sure they actually gave up the witches to him. They probably attended the ceremony to watch, like people used to attend hangings, as if it was some kind of gladiator sport. Well, gladiators as well, people in rings, arenas, that they used to watch kill each other. But yeah, I just thought it was a very interesting point of how we believe those in power, and we always think that, we're the most educated, and that those people in power now, they wouldn't lie to us, they wouldn't do these things like they did back then. Well, they did them back then, why do you think they wouldn't do them now? We're only as educated as the times we're in. And the thing about people is, the one thing two things that always remain the same is people always lie, unfortunately, and people always want to keep in power and control power, and control is that main thing, isn't it? That's why we have governments and things. If people didn't feel the need to control people, we wouldn't have governments, would we? We wouldn't have people telling other people what to do. And the other thing, and this leads on to it really a little bit, is the royal wedding that's going to take place tomorrow. At my work, they're all, they're actually doing a mock wedding, dressing up as them, putting out bunting and Union Jacks, and actually not Union Jacks, it's a British flag they're putting out. And they've got a spread of food and etc. for a wedding that they're never going to be able to attend, at a wedding that they're actually paying for. How do we ever get to the stage where people would celebrate something that is so wrong? In the sense that these elite people are born into this position, and no disregard to them, no attack on them. They've got no say on this as much as anyone who's born into, whether they're born into richness or poverty. It wasn't their choice. But the fact is that we believe in a system where we're enabling elitism, we're enabling there's people that are better than everyone else, people that own more of the world and the country than anyone else just because they were born into it. It's not about equality. It's funny that a lot of people, there'll be socialists who shouldn't be celebrating this type of thing. Also religious people who shouldn't believe in kings and people and inequality, because that's what royalty is. It is a sign of inequality. You can't say that there's an equal system, because people then defend that by saying, oh, but look at all the people that they bring in. But it's nothing about that. It's about the unequal nature of that we're all supposed to be equal, no matter who we are, what we are. But yet there'll be these people who don't have a house, their cancer treatment isn't given to them because they can't afford it, and yet they'll be standing, waiting to wave flags or have picnics outside to celebrate a wedding that they're paying for millions of pounds that they could never attend, despite Sky News saying everyone's invited. Everyone's invited. What do you mean? Oh, by watching the television. That's what you believe is invited. Misuse of English language to create an idea that was all part of involved. Why should we be waving a flag of a wedding? Are you going to cause the same kind of scene for your own family's wedding? Are you going to be able to ask the taxpayers to pay for your family's wedding? Are you going to be able to sit next to the Queen or any of those people to a wedding that you're paying for? It's the only wedding you're paying for that you're never going to be able to sit and eat at it or actually go inside the church and watch it. Come on, people, wake up. How do we get in this situation where we all, millions of people, even people not inside this country, will worship this kind of inequality and not even see it as inequality? That shows how asleep we all really are. And I wonder how many hundreds of years it's going to take for us to wake up. Take care, take it easy. God bless and peace.